Over the past few decades, we've become increasingly aware of the negative interactions between community and police. The Counted, a project by The Guardian, has listed 875 people killed this year by police. With these numerous increase of incidences, we have seen it call communities wanting to reform. But there has been an awakening with the public safety agencies to explore solutions to address centuries of distrust. That's where we get Indianapolis, along with 22 other law enforcement agencies, join President Obama's Task Force on 21st Century Policing Police Open Data Initiative. They were looking at the possibility that data and technology can be used to have more open dialogues with the communities so that they can transition from being enforcers of the law only to guardians of the community. When we landed in Indianapolis in February, not only were we met with the Hoosier spirit, but we also saw DPS's commitment to community, their interest and willingness to explore possibilities in technology, as well as fight institutional barriers in order to address rooted problems. So we saw this as a perfect opportunity to unpack the power of data as a tool for transparency and accountability. They were interested in moving towards giving the community a platform where they can address their successes, their challenges, as well as their shortcomings, and have the community hold them accountable to certain metrics publicly that they have set out. However, the biggest question always was, what does even open data look like when we're talking about police interactions? How can the community really use this? And can data truly unite the conversation so that we can agree on what the rooted issues are so we can move together towards a solution?
And the city of Indianapolis is already using data in creative ways. In the summer of 2014, the city and Department of Public Safety specifically partnered with a local university to dig deeper into the data of fire, police, EMS, and even schools. What that deeper dive revealed was we had 6 geographical areas that had several challenges in them. We had a higher incidence of crime, lower income, more school suspensions, and other holistic quality of life issues. We found that our citizens deserved much better. So the city and Department of Public Safety family committed to going the extra mile to serving the families in our community. In those 6 areas, we found there were food deserts. Because of those food deserts, there was a higher incidence of petty theft from grocery stores. Therefore, since we desire to institute lasting change instead of temporary fixes to the problems, we didn't increase police presence. We partnered with a local food bank to institute a 12-week pilot mobile food pantry program in these 6 geographical areas to attack the food desert issue. Over those 12 weeks, public safety staff from fire, police, EMS, and all public safety employees staffed these mobile food pantries. During that 12-week period, we were able to serve approximately 60,000 individuals at these mobile food pantries. Plans are underway to continue the mobile food pantries to address these serious needs in these 6 geographical areas. The city has also continued to digging deeper into data so we can drive our services to our community and to have more robust open data so we can service our community members and members of the media.
In addition to the great work with data happening within the city of Indianapolis, we saw community members, residents, working with data to achieve their goals. For example, one neighborhood association has a data subcommittee who tracks down absentee landlords that are neglecting properties and affecting the safety of their community. As we focused in on opening up 3 data sets, police use of force, officer-involved shootings, and complaints against officers, it was important to us to understand how opening this data will really benefit the people of Indianapolis. We heard from neighborhood groups that they wanted to know who was being stopped in their neighborhoods. Both police leadership as well as advocacy groups want to know whether there are certain officers, shifts, or districts that have greater than proportionate uses of force or complaints against them. There are local community groups that can use this data when it is open. There's a university center that provides a free data visualization tool for residents, and there are existing meetups of technologists and open data experts. In addition to understanding the user needs for these open data sets, we also had a lot to think about as far as the technology and ethical issues that are tightly intertwined around police open data. Police data can be very sensitive, so privacy and security is very important, both for investigations and potential victim privacy. So we had to think very carefully on what fields are appropriate to open and what should be redacted or not shared. Law enforcement uses a huge range of technology and stores their information in multiple databases, which frequently do not speak to each other, and some of which are quite difficult to access. So as we worked on the project, we saw that the more data sets we tried to bring in, the more difficult and complex the project would be. Also, each incident in these data sets is a situation that people have been through, probably a very difficult thing. So we wanted to remember the humans behind the data. Most people are not data experts, and we didn't want to build a tool that was only useful to technologists and data scientists. However, we believe that by providing some additional context around the data and an educational component, we can still empower people with data to improve their communities. The tool website we are building with Indianapolis has 3 main components. First, data visualizations to give an overview of what's happening in all these data sets. Contextual information such as the use of force policy, any trends that the city is aware of, and what kind of programs they have in place to try to improve things, to understand the whole ecosystem and situation that's happening around this data. And of course, the full data download for anyone who wants to dig in on the technical side.
Just like most cities, you all are competitive. So the big question that Indy asks is, what are other cities doing? So within that, we created the Police Open Data Census as a way to capture what we could find online of what people were doing in terms of opening up these different 8 data sets. We looked at within 6 criteria. So we looked at, is it available for bulk download? Is it up to date? Is the context provided? Is it at an individual incident level? Red mean no, green mean yes, blue unsure, and as you can see with the plethora of gray, we still have a lot of work to do. In addition, on this site, we also created recommendations for each data set with what cities are currently doing within that. So within what we saw so far is that 21% of the top 100 largest cities have already started to at least open up one data set. We understand that this is a new adventure, but we're looking forward to the growth and potential that this can really bring. So we started to look at challenges. Multiple data sets is one of the big challenges. However, with 3 of the top data sets being officer-involved shootings, use of force, and complaints, which we found out through our research that most people were interested in, were housed in an internal database that 485 agencies use in the US alone. So we saw this as a huge opportunity to not only build it for Indy, but to redeploy it into other cities and start a conversation on best practices. Some important things we learned. Context when releasing data is a must. And it's important when we're talking about complex data sets to see them as avenues to inform and educate in order for people to have a conversation. In addition, opening data for data's sake never gets us anywhere. And we always need to see open data as a step on the path to renewing relationships and not the goal only. So within that, we want to help you on this path. If your name is up there, We already did the research for you, and we know you use the same database. So come see us at noon today over in the Tech Center, or you can just go to projectcomport.org and fill out the interest sheet, because we want to be your friend in this fight as we move forward. Thank you very much.